Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to a brand new series launched by Career Beacon. As we promised on 18th of December with a panel of discussions during our Myths and Facts series, we said that we are coming up with a new series. And believe me, we are back as discussed with you. And first of all, wishing you all a very happy new year. And I hope this new year brings a cheerful moments, healthy moments, and positive moments for everything. Positive in positive, not COVID positive. So, that would be negative for all cases because as the vaccination is already in news and it should be back, with us very shortly. Well, as discussed, we are coming up with a brand new series that's called Good Book Read series. Here, the first thing that we are doing is that we are going to have a book review session on a every week basis. That is, we are going to have a speaker and a book by any of the author, and the speaker is going to actually talk about this particular book, their reviews, and the details that they would like to discuss during the entire show. So there is a complete format which has been figured out. And to inaugurate this series, we have a language teacher who teaches French in SV International School, Salem. She's with us, Miss Padmapriya Arunkumar, and she is going to review a beautiful book that is Your Child Can Be a Genius, which is written by another educationist, Miss Aruna Raghavan. So, first of all, Priya, welcome. And I would like to, introduce Priya. Priya, as I've said, that she is a language teacher. She has got a beautiful experience of teaching, and she believes that as a parent, we need to understand that every child is a genius and there is no comparison of one child with another. She is having a prolific academic background, strengthened by her leaderships and the skills that have been actually spoken by their management, that the kind of things that she brings into the classroom. She is a person who amicably, jovially adapts to every situation. And let me, without any delay, let me welcome Priya Arun Kumar with us, who is going to review a beautiful book written by Miss Aruna Raghavan. Well, Priya, welcome to the show, and I hope you have a beautiful message to share in the form of book review. But if anything I have missed out about your portfolio, which you would like us to focus on, please do discuss on that.
Absolutely fine. Thank you, Ms. Sunanda, for giving me first this platform to express my views on one of my favorite books written by Mrs. Aruna Raghavan, Your Child Can Be a Genius. And of course, it is sure. I have actually read a lot of fiction books written by authors like Sidney Sheldon, Jeffrey Archer, Daniel Steele. But I chose this fiction, non-fiction, because this is my partner when I take up dual roles as a mother and as a teacher. So apart from that, then we will just move on. I've got plenty of things to share with you regarding the book. I want everybody to take it.
That's so beautiful, Padma. During our conversation, unlike the regular, book review sessions which happen in the overseas, though we haven't witnessed anything so far in our country in terms of these kind of books, but we will go in a dialogue manner, and so that our viewers who are watching us now can fall in love with this particular book, and then we all are going to talk about this, what exactly, how the books talk with us, what is this author trying to talk to us, what is that he wants or he or she wants to communicate while they are writing the book, what is the objective behind this. So welcome to the All Book Talk series, or the Good Book Read series that we have actually spoken about. And before we start a formal discussion on this particular book, I would like you to give a conscience plot or a summary of this book so that people who are watching us, they can stay glued with us for this entire session which we are going to have for the next half an hour. So it's equivalent of reading this entire book during this session. So you will find out great insights about it. But Priya, I would like you to speak a bit about this concise plot summary about the book.
Sure. As the title says, Every child is latent with some talent or the other. It is only in the hands of the parent or the teacher to really bring it out from them, isn't it? So all that is there in the book tells you what to do and what not to do. Just as your caption also said, I really liked it, and that's one of the reasons why I registered all book stock. Really, this book spoke to me several times. Like whenever I needed advice on bringing up my child, and of course my students also. When I got this book, actually I was not a teacher. I took up the profession only after reading this book actually. And you know that learning starts only from home and not from school. And this author has actually beautifully explained that a child learns from what the nature has given, the five senses. That is the point to wonder, isn't it? Like we all don't know how we all learn actually. A child's learning starts from the moment he or she is born. In fact, learning happens at its best from crawling. So from that moment, of course, and then it becomes the best only from when it crawls. A lot of science is there behind it. And she has explained it so beautifully how that science has worked, how that science works. And then the book touches upon learning through listening, then the enhancement of reading ability, then develop spelling, then written pattern, what parents have to actually do for their children, the best one for their children, and what the teachers have to do to their best for their students. The content is like actually full of examples on how the best learning happens in class or at home. Both. It is covered both at school and at home. It has touched upon all the subjects, the language, history, geography, math, science, and teaching with interconnectedness. That is the highlight of the book. And that's what is more important, right, in the present scenario. Because when you want a child to really understand something, you will have to definitely connect it with something. Otherwise, he doesn't understand just giving a book and telling him few sentences, he doesn't understand. So all this is all about the book as such. And yeah, yes.
Yeah, thank you so much for giving such a beautiful summary plot, because in case if author is listening to us today, or she might come across this video, which we are going to forward it to her for sure, she would actually relive the moments that you have explained, that how this book is starting from listening to book reading to various aspects that have to be taken care of. I'm sure this is going to be a wonderful conversation that we are going to have. Is there any character in this book, Priya? How author has, shown, expressed herself into these characters, or any plot or somebody, if you can just share about it?
See, actually, there is no as such a character, but then she has started with her life experience, with her child, and what she has actually learned from what she has taught her. She just wanted to bring the same to the students who are there with her, who come for her. Most of the students have the learning disability, or they have some concerns in reading. So she took up the same plot as such to her children in school. So there is no characters as such, but the book has got a lot of students characters to whom she has been talking to, what the children have been doing. So the story goes only with short conversations, and the what to say, if they are reading the book, you will know you will literally be in the school as such, or you will literally be in her house. So that's how it is being picturized.
Wow, that's so beautiful. So these are the real life examples that an educator undergoes, or the conversation that she's having. So while reading this book, I'm sure you're inspired. That's the reason why you started with your journey of a teacher. But how did they make you feel? All these people who have been mentioned in the book, maybe an alias name or real name, whatever the author has done. So how could you, how were you feeling while you were going through that book, and how were you, resonating yourself with that particular character, or resonating your existing student with that character? If you can just narrate a bit about it.
Sure. When I read this book, every page, like, told me something, what I have to do, because I had a few problems after my son was born. I had a couple of problems, like how to bring him up. And I was alone also. So I thought, okay, after 3 years after he was born, I had to go out and I had to be alone. So at that time, I got this book. So it gave me like in depth of how I should actually be for my son to be exactly like me. So that is one thing. And then as a parent, I could bring a lot of changes in him. He started reading sentences when he was in UKG. Yeah, and he has always been independent from then till now when it comes to studies. I have to ask him what he is doing. He has got his own responsibilities. He takes his own responsibilities. He knows what he has to do. He knows what he has to study. He will sit only for an hour, but he understands what he is reading it out. That is what is more important, I think, in if children start reading books. They have to understand what they are reading. So that was one good thing that I could bring in him. That's one. And then it made me believe that I can also be a teacher and I will teach well, though not a teacher when I got this book. This motivated me actually to take it as a profession. Wherever I have been working in all the schools that I have worked, I felt my approach to children was a little different because it taught me to be empathetic. Like, I could understand what actually the child wanted. So that one I learned only from this book. Then I have shared a lot of ideas with my friends, colleagues. So when you start sharing things with people, what happens? They also like add to that idea. See, just reading a book and doing exactly what is there is not more important. Rather, you can add some more this creativity to that, and you can make it much more better. So when I share these things with my teachers, they all came up with a lot of other ideas which worked very well. And that is the enjoyment of sharing. And I really like to do that. And we had a lot of chances to bring out more innovative ways, a different teaching idea. All these things I got. And that, of course, gives a lot of happiness. And that's one thing that it made me feel really good.
That's when I was listening to you, even I was getting mesmerized when you mentioned that sharing is has got a very good thing to do. Yes, of course, when you share the knowledge, when you share the insights, you give one and I give one, and we both of us have two, we'll end up in two. So that's the beautiful message that you have given during this thing. Now, before we go to the actual storyline, if I have to ask you to evaluate the work of the book as a reader, so in a scale of say 1 to 10, how would you rate this book, so that the people who are glued with us right now, they should have a little more twist to understand what is going to come. So we would like to have your rating, followed by that then we will go to the actual book review session.
Yeah. My rating would definitely be 10. If it's 1 to 10, it is 10 for me. Yeah.
That's
See, the reason is like this book is full of wonders, values, information, life experiences with children, and a lot of learning engagements. And it is a real treasure for parents who really aspire to bring out the best in their child and the teachers for their students. So, like every page, tells us the situation of a child and the way it has to be handled. All learning, has a connection. Say, for example, I want to teach math. Okay, so I just don't go with numbers. Just say 10, 10, 10. No, I don't do that. What I do, I say 10 bananas, 10 apples, 10 peaches. So when I add words to that, they not only learn the word 10, they also learn some vocabulary. That is the interconnectedness, I think, really that has, drives me to read more. And
Wow.
it's just not repetition of it, isn't it? So you get to learn more things from that. And then with the same pattern, we can teach addition and fraction. And so what happens, math becomes easy. See, generally we all have an idea math is very tough. Math is, I don't get math. I didn't have this kind of this thing to read. So I really don't like math. But probably my child likes math. My child likes math very much, and he always scores full marks. So that's one thing that I really admire, and what I taught him when he was very small. So when I showed him the picture books, I don't tell just the numbers. I tell him with the vocabulary, and that is one of the reasons probably he's able to comprehend whatever he's reading, and his language has improved. So when I knew that my child is able to do this, the same thing will I apply with my students also. So whatever we experience, we are going to take it back to them. So this book has got a lot of learning engagements that can be used from 2 years old. And not only the subjects, but it has touched upon music also. I will let you know that a little later. And how listening to music many a times, very young age, allows the child to identify even the ragas and the notes, how it is done.
Wow, that's a beautiful thing. Now I cannot resist. So, when you have mentioned about it, I would like you to tell us in brief or in a length what happens, what is the storyline of the book. And of course, we are going with multiple other questions, but this is where we are looking forward for a great yarn or everything that is coming closure on this particular book. So, if you can just share, how does it start, how does it end, what is the storyline, that would be really nice. And of course, I have many other questions which I'll be putting forward to you.
Yeah. This book starts from her home, like from how she managed her child to learn. When she was 6 years old, she was able to learn everything. And then slowly she comes out to her classrooms and the school where she is actually trying to put her practices with them and make her understand. I will just tell you how it is being done. And the best part is that how a newborn learns through the five senses. That's amazing, right? So we have most of the times we have failed to notice that. For example, taste and the smell. If the child spits something new that he is eating, what we do is we immediately stop giving him. But then it does not mean that he doesn't want, he's just trying to learn. So learning happens there, but we try to miss it out. Then similarly, he learns to recognize the touch. He can identify who is holding, mom or someone else. Then he slowly understands cold, warm, so he goes with the touch. Then when it comes to sounds, they learn to differentiate sounds that they hear at home and outside. That's why we take them around and they go out. And then she says we must repeat the phrases in all the languages that we know. That's how it starts. Learning starts only from listening. So that is one of the skill of language, isn't it? That's the first skill. It also tells us how to foster a child's concentration. So this gives clarity on how to handle different children in a class. So slowly she takes up to the classroom where she is telling us how to make children to learn other skill areas. Then generally what happens is parents do make some mistakes. They don't allow their child to decide what profession he would like to take. So it goes on like that. The story goes on like that. Then make them understand what they want. Then make them learn. Then reading, speaking, everything comes by. And then slowly she takes up to how they can decide their profession. She has shown a wonderful way actually to find out what they have to choose. We just have to show them the way and they get it. This book tells us all that. We can also know what type of books we have to choose for our for reading to our children. Like they have also mentioned the font size, the picture size, the book size, and then how it can be taken up to them. So everything she has covered, even that part. And the best thing is connection with the nature. To have a better learning. Everything she connects it with nature. That's a wonderful content. She has written how children have to do a research for a good understanding of the concept. Here, I just would like to a little bit of from whatever she practices. She has been writing whatever she is practicing, right? So I got a chance to go to her school once, and when I was just talking to her, suddenly it rained. She allowed all the children to go get wet. Go get wet. She just sent all the children. And I was so surprised. I said, "You're sending them. Wouldn't they let them get wet? Let them first feel the nature. Let them first understand that rain falls like this, and then what will happen if it falls on there. What is the feeling? Let them enjoy that feeling. Slowly, we can take them back to learning. That is what. So the same thing she has put it on the book. How we have to go about with the kids. So that's one thing that is there. And the entire book is about the author's personal and of course personal experience and her school. And there is no as such a storyline. Everything is sharing. Every page is sharing her information. And she has shown ways to improve a child's learning without a lot of practical knowledge and make every woman believe that she is a teacher herself. So that's one thing that she has done. And all the 4 skill areas like listening, speaking, reading, and writing, they are all well designed with innovative ideas that the author has experienced with her child. Listening does not focus only on learning vocabulary and sentences, right? So it has touched upon sounds in nature, the music being a part of learning tool. So she has gone with listening from that from that to slowly pace to the other skills. And then slowly she comes to the reading part, where her strategy is based on Dr. Glenn Doman's system. I think most of them who are watching this would have heard about him. And it is a system of using flashcards and explains the exact way to use them for it to work. She has even mentioned the size of the flashcard, the font size of the letters, and how it has to be shown. How many times do you have to show the flashcard, with how many seconds, everything in detail. So when you have to prepare flashcards, you can just take her book, just look at that and make it and use it. And that's how she has written the book. And then it is well understood that speaking comes from listening. And she has also given a lot of tips to bring out the speaking skill in a child. Most of them, even including me, I was like, I know when it comes to speaking, and that too with a crowd, I generally have, you'll have this, hiccups. So all that, how we can avoid from a child, that is given there in that book. And there is a lot of touch on learning the right way of spelling the vocabulary. It does not end only with the reading, even the spelling. How you can really empower child's spelling knowledge. That also is, she has given a lot of examples how we can try. And she also tells us how to make children to be organized in their work, to make them volunteer, to keep up the responsibility. And it is not like teaching values as such, like do this, don't lie, don't do this, don't cheat, don't steal, nothing like that. She says that it should be age appropriate values. And she is also told us how to inculcate discipline in a child and how children can really enjoy learning. So that's one thing that this is what all about the book. Of course, there are a lot of other things also, which I have experienced and which I would share.
Wow, such a beautiful way of writing a book wherein we are touching on each and every senses. We are touching on the learning styles, and as obviously letting go children to the rain to experience it so that they can learn. Plus, when you mentioned that, how students can fall in love with the books, what is the kind of pictures, the size of the image and the font size, even you mentioned about the flashcard, that is really interesting. I'm sure I would be the next person to buy that book, what she has mentioned, because something which I have actually fallen in love with that particular concept. Now, here I have another question which I want to ask you. When we are talking to most of the people, when we are talking about certain books, now this book is a recommendation for which age group? Who should read this book? Is it only parents? Is it only the teachers, or someone who is trying to start their parenthood, or someone who is starting their teaching career? Who should be the right appropriate people to whom you would like to recommend this book?
I think all age groups, from parents, I mean, even in fact, pregnant ladies, I would recommend for pregnant lady, because even not even one day should be wasted. That's what I think. I feel the moment the child is born, even in fact, science also says that a child in the womb can start listening and start learning. So even that day should not be missed. So I think it is from the pregnant women, all the parents, not only mothers, including fathers, because he also has equal, job to bring up the kid. And then all the teachers, parents and the teachers, it is a real good book for teachers because so many information like say for example, and what to say, it has made me really feel that I can do the best for a child. See, there is one example that I would like to just bring in here. See, he was Mr. Raghavan was taking a class. That is one part that is mentioned in the book, and he found that for a few days, one child alone was not really concentrating. He was doing something else when he was teaching. So he had to, like, that is also one of the examples. That is why I am mentioning it here, so that you will know exactly how this book has really gone through and who has to study also, who has to read, sorry. So when he was taking the class, he was like actually not listening. So he was wondering why that child was not listening in his class. So when he called him separately, when he spoke to him, that rapport when he built with the child, he came to know that the child was interested in cars. He was always thinking about it. That was his dream. The next day, the class was with a car. So he tried to bring, he just brought an image of a big car and he started teaching with that. So what happened? The child who was not listening has started listening. So that one small bit, now I will know that after reading the book, okay, there are different kind of children and we'll have to like really understand what they are doing and slowly bring our own ideas into the class and develop them. So that's one. And then there are very creative topics like projects at home, then scientific bath that talks about experiments, a case of cars, how children were able to create their own book. They created their book when they are in grade 6 or grade 5. They created their book. And then they even talk about them, of course. And your child's vacation, what the parent has to do actually when they go for a vacation. Because what she says is every day is learning. It is not that you just have to come sit with a book and then read. No, that's not what the point she says. So every moment the parent spends time with the child, or every minute the child is there in the class. So everybody has to read the book, I suppose.
So, well, this, brings to a great pointer that you mentioned that, how the author has ensured that learning process is going on, and who all are recommended is everyone, even the pregnant persons, because this is the time not to waste. It's more on to development of mind. So, now, before we go to the second set of the questions, here I would like to connect with all the audience, and I would like to know if this well read series of the episodes are inspiring you to read the book that is reviewed right now by the speaker, Ms. Priya Arunkumar. That, are you really inspired with that or not? If you are really inspired, we would like to have your comment in the comment box so that we get to know we are in the right track. Every time we are doing a new series, something has been curated with the help of all of you. We need to know if we are in the right track. So I would look forward for your comments in the comment box. And in the meanwhile, let me go to next question with Ms. Priya Arun Kumar. Well, we have heard from you that you have read this book. This has really created an impact. Now here, how, if I have to ask you in a nugget, or maybe a 10-piece advice that you would like to give to people, that how the book has personally impacted you. First thing, you already said that you started before teaching the career, you started the career, you actually read this book and it has impacted. But in the 10 pointers, if you have to gist it down, how would you list it down?
Yeah, very much positive. So, just as I had mentioned earlier, as a parent, I have made my child a good reader and just not reading with comprehension. Then that is something that happiness you get, like when we moved from where we were staying, I had to put him in another school. Like everybody was so surprised when he started to read. So that is one of the reasons why he got his admission. So that's one thing that I'm really feeling good about. And then, in fact, from the age of 4, he started that. So that brought out the teacher in me, as I said, and made me more confident. Then do things differently for children to enjoy their learning. I want not only my child, I want my children in class, my students, to really enjoy their learning. And since I am a language teacher, I don't want them to learn it as a subject. I want them to learn it as a language as such. So that is one thing that I learned from this book. So that is one personal impact. And of course, as I told, while sharing these ideas with all my friends, with many of my friends, I got a lot of tips from them. So that again developed me. So learning happens everywhere, just as she says, learning happens everywhere and not only age. I can learn even from a child and I can learn even from an adult. So when I learn a lot of things, when I imply whatever I have read, so I get more ideas. So my job becomes even more professional. I can reach out to my students even better. And for a long time, I can have them with me. And even now, I keep getting messages from my students. Ma'am, I got so many marks in this exam. Ma'am, I got this mark. I was so happy. And when I was standing in the bus stop, there was one, I can't call him a child now because he's completed his 12. But then he came up to me and he just fell on my feet on the bus stop. So I said, oh, don't do that. Said, ma'am, you have taught me so many things. So that is the kind of, that has personally impacted me, because this was the one that it really thought. I didn't have confidence in being a teacher. I never thought I would be, because I was into something else. And then after reading this slowly, I thought, okay, fine, I can also start teaching. So that's one of the, and one thing that has really impacted me. And then most importantly, I started becoming empathetic. That is the first and foremost attitude one should have as a mother and as a teacher. Not all children are same in terms of learning. So if my son does not show interest on something and I just sit and I listen to what he is actually about to say, if it is genuine, yes, I will accept. But if it is not a genuine reason, I will give him a choice. I will give him a choice what to choose and what not to choose. And of course, he chooses the best one, because that's what I have already spoken to him through the book. Whatever I had to tell him, whatever he has to understand, I have done. Whatever is been, whatever consultations I have got from her. So obviously, this is what happening. That's one personal impact that I had. And then I mentioned to you about the music, right? Like how music has. So I just got one small information to share. Like I was actually, when I read about this music, I was wondering how children are able to learn, identify, differentiate ragas and all that. So that was one corner of my mind. Fine. So though my son is a violin, he plays violin and all that, I still had one thing in the corner. So a few years back, I read an article in the newspaper about how music stimulates your nerve cells to the brain. So, okay, now I relate this music, whatever I have learned here, I have related what I read from the newspaper. And now I wanted to try something with the child. So, when I was taking English for a grade 10 child, he was actually getting only a single digit mark, and he was supposed to get into a public examination. So I had to do something for him, because it was too late for me to get some flashcards and keep teaching him all the words. That was too late. So I had to do something quickly, because we didn't have enough time. So what I did, I asked him to listen to music every day for 15-20 minutes before he comes to school. I wanted him to do that as a regular practice for about a month. And then after, because anything does not happen within a day or two, it needs some time to work, isn't it? So after, when this child who was getting a single digit, after the test that he took after a month, he just jumped over to a 2-digit. He got a just pass. Okay, then I had a feeling of, okay, fine. So this works. So this is one major thing that has really impacted me. And there are several things, in fact, from the book that I have read. Like actually, there was a beautiful message about, how they taught geography, how the rivers flow. So, okay, they asked the children to actually do a research of rivers. So they did their own research. They found out that the rivers came from the mountain. So where does it go? It goes through the mountains, okay. It goes through the forest. Okay, what happens when it comes near the lake? So whatever it passes through, like it passed through all sand, mud, stones and all that, which is rugged. and then they came to a plane. And when she was relating that to our life, that's an analogy she made with the children also, to make them better personality. So when she related that to life, that is the same for us also. So we do come across a lot of ups and downs in our life. So the children also learn that. So we start inculcating this acceptance from a very young age. You will be facing failures. You will be having success in your life. So that also adds beauty to this book. So all these have personally impacted me.
Thank you so much, Priya. While you were communicating, you said that you actually happened to meet uh, the speaker, sorry, the writer, and you went to her school also. Yes, with your kind experience, if you can share something about the author of this book, that what did you really find in her? Because it's very seldom that we get to know an author and we meet that book, the person who has written that book which has impacted us. So if in case if you can share a few characteristics or something about the author, that would be really nice before we conclude today's session.
Yeah, sure. You know what? Actually, I got this book from her. She was the one
Okay.
who gifted me this book. I didn't buy it. So when I went to her school, it was a school like just in the middle of a farm, fully full of fields and beautiful. And then she took me to her class. And then when I went to the class, the class was not the normal one, just we have 4 walls and then 2 windows. No, not like that. There were trees growing from inside the class, huge trees, and a lot of paintings on the wall the children had done, and a lot of they made pottery. They learned a lot of co-curricular activities in the school, so everything the children have made. One good thing that I really noticed was when a child entered the class, they actually teach children who are deprived of education, who are very poor. They are all from very poor family, so they are running it under a trust, Shikshayatan school. So when a child just walked in, the way she spoke and her dress had no coincidence at all. She was wearing one pavade and one shirt, one long skirt and one shirt, and then one, that mutumal and all we say, it's very, very how these people used to wear. She just walked in with 2 plaited hair, and then she walked in, and the way she said, "Excuse me, ma'am, may I come in?" Small child. I was so glad to see that children speaking like that. And she also knows some words in Spanish because they get a lot of foreigners come to their school. So they have a connection with foreigners. So because they are also people who, give them, pay them for something. They have some links with them. So because it's a trust. So what happened? Children have this thing with talking to foreigners, so they pick up things very easily. And the way she spoke just moved me, and that's one good thing that I really liked about the school. And when I went there was a snake, and everybody started shouting, "Ma'am, there's a snake! There's a snake!" She said, "Go behind that and find out where it is going." I was like stunned. I was like shocked. I said, "Ma'am, you're asking the children to go behind this. Yeah, let them know where it goes. Nothing, it will not do anything unless we harm that." So children comes to know that they should not harm anything, so that nothing comes to them. That's one thing about Mrs. Aruna and Mr. Raghavan are working together for the entire school. And if anybody gets a chance to go to Trivarur, it's 10 kilometers from that. And it's a beautiful school that anybody should visit. And we learn a lot of things. And one more thing that I want to mention about the school, I just dropped into the 9th standard, grade 9. And there were only about 4 or 5 children there. And there was an individual desk. Individual desk, and on top there was a shelf with some books, and then above that, few steps ahead, there was a small library. There was no teacher, only a facilitator. So he doesn't teach anything. He makes the child to learn on his own. So he goes, he finds out whatever has to be done. He picks up the books, he reads, he goes for a research, and then he comes down to his teacher and learns what he has learned, and then brushing a slight modification and the grooming and all is done by the facilitator. So that's how the entire school goes. They learn with nature. That's all. That's so
Wow.
many things about the school and
Yeah,
about
in fact,
so whatever.
when you recommended this book for yourself that you will be reading this, believe me, I went through the website. I've tried to find out the author, tried to go through the website of her, wherein the school that, and I believe they are now running a chain of schools, and the school pics and everything. People can see that it's all nature around. So now I can recap the ones that you are saying, that how exactly her school runs. What I believe is a little reading is all time therapy that everyone needs, sometime, because reading is going to make impact. And all of you viewers, you can see a lady who was not even a teacher at that time. She has been gifted with a book and she's fallen in love with that book. I'm sure it has impacted to a great extent that she started her teaching career. So with such many books, we are going to come forward to you on every weekly basis. And if you have any particular book which you would like to review, or if you have students who are interested in this book read series, we are going to continue with this for a while. And Padma, you were really brilliant, because the way you actually spoke about the book, I am truly have fallen in love with that. This is a small token of appreciation from the
Thank
Career
you.
Beacon team.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for your valuable time, and taking out the time to actually share a beautiful insights with all the viewers who are watching us right now, that what exactly is the book all about. And lastly, audience, we would like to tell you that this book review series is started from today, and we believe every book talks. So that's the reason why our book series is saying all books talks, Goodreads series. We would like to inculcate the reading habit that you are going to inculcate after this particular sessions, because every speaker who is coming forward is coming forward with their experience blended with an author's experience. I'm sure every one of you have liked the thing, and we would like to have your kind comments in this. And anyone who would like to review all the speakers, we have a jury platform. You can please touch base with us or with the speaker. We would like to give you the form so that you can do a judgment of this, that how well this book review series has impacted you. With this, Padma, I would like to conclude. If you would like to conclude with any of the concluding remarks, that would be really nice.
Yes, I would definitely would say all the viewers not to miss reading such kind of books. Not only this one, many are there, which gives us really a lot of information. So this book especially I want to mention because it has changed my life and my as a parent, and so why not others? So please do not miss reading this book. And thank you so much, Ms. Sunanda and Ms. Kavita Rai and the Career Beacon team. A special thanks to my Vice President, Ms. Subbalakshmi, who has recommended me here, my family and friends for motivating me. All the time they are there to motivate me, not only here, throughout my career. So thanks to everyone. Thank you so much.
Well, I must acknowledge our vote of thanks to Ms. Subbalakshmi, because yes, whenever we come out with any of the series that we plan, she's the one who would always say, okay, these are the things that you can do. These are the speakers who can actually come back. And next week we are going to come back with, another beautiful book, one and done. This is a dilemma of today's parents, because most of the parents, they have a single child. With your only child, yes, there are multiple hiccups that come across. First of all, the child doesn't enjoy a company of siblings. At times the child will complain that either get me a brother, sister, either get me a dog, either get me a pet, or he would be feeling low, high, the mood swings, everything. So with this well read webinar series, we are going to come with Miss Karina Bhambani, who is an educator from Podar International School, ICSC, Mumbai, who is going to review this book, One and Done by Veronica D'Souza, who is a newly born author, but yes, with an experience. So we hope we will see you next week with another speaker, another book review. Please stay tuned with us to subscribe to our channel, because unlike any other thing, whatever is your support that is extended, that is making us to grow organically, and we are really thankful to you for this particular thing, because you guys are making us to grow organically and are actually beacon of, you're playing as a beacon for this career beacon entire series, because you are the guys who are motivating us to curate a different platform altogether, something unlike the other leads that we are doing. So, with this, thank you, Padma, for your valuable time. Thank you, Kavita, for supporting on the technical aspects with the creative teams, with the website team, everyone, that whatever is happening from the back end. So, next week, Kavita is going to host us, who is a mother of two children. And of course, it should be a vice versa, because I have one child, so I should have done the next one. And she should have done this thing because she is implementing a lots of parenting workshop in various schools, that how parenting has to be done. With this, we sign off for today. Myself and Kavita are signing off. We'll see you next week with another episode with another speaker. And Padma, thank you so much for staying
Thank
tuned
you.
with us.
Thank
And
you
all
so
the
much.
viewers, yeah, all the viewers, you have been fabulous with all the comments and the chatting that is going on the live YouTube streaming. We look forward to meet you next week. And if you have any book which you would like us to get it reviewed, or anything that you would like us to share an idea that what kind of event that we should curate, please feel free to connect with us. Our email ID, everything there is there in the description box. Until then, stay safe and happy Pongal to all of you.
Happy